In this video, I'm going to talk about the particular features of the posterior elements of the lumbar vertebrae. Hi and welcome back to Physiotutors. During the first part of this video series, we talked about the particular features of the vertebral body. Now let's look at the posterior elements. While the vertebral bodies are ideal for longitudinal weight bearing, they have no other features to confer stability in any other direction. So sliding forwards, backwards and sideways, as well as twisting movements, all have to be prevented by the posterior structures of a vertebrae. The posterior elements of the vertebral body are the lamina, the articular processes and the spinous process, while the transverse process is sometimes counted as posterior element as well. When two lumbar vertebrae are articulating, we can see three different joints. One is formed between the vertebral bodies called the interbody joint, while the other two are formed between the lower articular processes of the upper vertebrae and the upper articular processes of the lower vertebrae. Officially, they are called zygapophysial joints, which comes from the Greek word apophysis, which means outgrowth, and zygos, which means bridge. Commonly, the zygapophysial joints are also called facet joints. These two joints prevent forward sliding as well as rotation. The spinous, transverse, and mammillary processes all form attachments for the spinal muscles, while the longer processes form big levers to enhance muscle action. Basically, all muscles that act on the lumbar spine attach on these posterior elements, with the exception of the diaphragm and the psoas. This means that all muscle forces are first acting on the posterior elements of the spine and are then transferred to the vertebral body through the lamina. The pars interarticularis between the superior and inferior processes lies at the junction of the vertically oriented lamina and the horizontally oriented pedicles and is therefore subjected to considerable bending forces. The bone in the pars interarticularis is therefore thicker than in the lamina, but can still suffer fatigue or stress fractures. The pars is also the part of the vertebrae that gets fractured in case of a spondylolysis or the more severe form spondylolisthesis. At last, the pedicles act as a strong relay station that connect the posterior elements with the vertebral body. The resistance from the facet joints from forward sliding and rotating are transmitted to the pedicles as tension, while all forces from the muscles that act on the various processes are channeled towards the pedicles as bending forces. Okay, this was our video on the particular features of the posterior elements. Make sure to also watch our video on particular features of the intervertebral disc and the interbody joint. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you still have questions, comment down below. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.